If 1,000 people are watching this video, I can bet that 990 of you would have never seen this demo. In this demo, I have Claude installed inside VS Code. My editors, not programmers, but my editors have written a system where they have explained step by step on how this LLM needs to edit the A roll. Now, the crazy part is that this VS Code, with the power of Claude, can export a certain file, and that file is called an XML file. And if I were to import that XML file inside of my Premiere Pro, the entire video is going to be edited with AI, with all of my gaps, my ums, my ahs, and all of the retakes edited seamlessly without any human being on the system. Students all across the world are learning skills that are no longer relevant. If you want to protect your career, apart from this skill engineering, there's a bunch of new fields that are coming up in the agentic era. And each of these skills will increase in your potential to earn money and complexity. And in this video, I'm going to break down each and every one of them, help you understand how these technologies can be learned and what you need to do to become the best version of yourself in 2026. So without further ado, let's get started. When this entire game started, everybody thought that if you can write a very complicated prompt, you will be the winner. Then we moved from prompt engineering to context engineering, where everybody said that if you can set the role, the constraints and the expectations, you're sorted. But in today's day and age, we have this new thing called skills. And skills are basically your SOPs. For example, if I am a restaurant owner and if there is a certain way to make a burger, I cannot automate the process of making a burger unless my chefs have written a step-by-step prescription of how a burger is created. Now, if you are an IT professional and if there is something that you're doing on a daily basis, for example, every morning you come up and check your emails, then once you check your emails, you shortlist some customers, and once you shortlist some customers, you make proposals. Now, in each of these cases, you might be checking your emails on Gmail, then you're going to your customers and reading something. So this is something very, very basic. And for proposals, maybe you're using Gamma or even PowerPoint. Now, when you use AI tools, you have to individually open these tools one by one and repeat a certain process. But now, in the age of your Perplexity computer, your Claude Cowork, and your OpenClaw, you no longer need to prompt these AI tools individually. You can simply create a skill, which is just a fancy way of saying that this is a step-by-step description of how I need to do my work, and upload that skill into your agentic tools. Aaj se 3 saal baad, every single company is going to have an agentic AI tool. But what they will not have are well-written systems and SOPs. So if you are someone who enters skill engineering, or if you offer an organization the ability to create SOPs for agents, that is a skill that you can start making money in the next 10 to 12 months. The second new field which is coming up is your ability to create deterministic systems. AI can either be probabilistic or deterministic. Now, this is where the concept of retrieval augmented generation comes in and vector databases come in. Assume that you are 10 years old and you have a bunch of toys spread across your room. Your father walks in one day and realizes that you have distributed toys all across the room. So he has asked you to clean your room. Now, by default, any normal child would put toys into boxes and put labels on those boxes. But if I am going on with my friends, I'm not looking for toys on the basis of names. I am looking at toys on the basis of their experience. Now, the concept of vector databases does the same. An improvised way of categorizing all of my toys would be not by their name or their characters, but by the type of experience they provide. This is where vector databases come into the picture, and you can actually build your own RAGs and your own vector databases using multiple tools in the market with very less technical knowledge. One of those examples is Milvus. So there is a huge demand for AI engineers who can build reliable systems that are consistent, accurate, and grounded in their own data. Now, Milvus is one of the tools built specifically for these kind of use cases at scale. Milvus is one of the most popular vector databases on GitHub with over 43,000 stars, and the best part is that they have an open source community that can help you grow faster. It's built specifically to store and retrieve the kind of data that RAG systems depend on in milliseconds. So to show you how it works, we've built an HR chatbot using our company's policy documents. Now you can make similar chatbots for other enterprises as well. We knew that no one wants to read through pages of HR rules, especially when it comes to your basic questions like vacation and sick leaves and reimbursements. So we built a simple RAG pipeline that used GPT 3.5 Turbo as the core LLM. Then we used Milvus Lite, created a database and wired everything together with the Milvus client, along with a lightweight frontend that you can very easily create with HTML and JavaScript. And if you prefer not to manage the entire infrastructure yourself, you can use Zillus Cloud, which is the easiest way to set up your cloud infrastructure. Zillus Cloud offers a fully managed version of Milvus that automatically handles your scaling and indexing. So you can go from your prototype to actual production without changing a single line of code. We've shared all details to try Milvus and Zillus Cloud in the description of this video. If this is clear, we should move on to the next upcoming field. The third new skill is no-code prototyping. If you want to enter no-code prototyping, you need to understand the difference between greenfield prototyping and brownfield prototyping. In greenfield prototyping, you essentially start building from scratch. In these cases, things are very easy because you're building on a blank canvas. But in brownfield prototyping, you as a software developer are using AI to build on top of traditional software that your humans have created before. For example, if I open a startup and if I want to prototype my next app idea, that would essentially be called as greenfield prototyping. But if I join the team at IBM and IBM has thousands of software engineers working on a certain protocol, I cannot use AI to just jumble things left, right, center, because that comes under the category of brownfield development. Programmers who are using AI in brownfield situations often build up something known as technical debt. Because if you build something with AI and if you do not know all the tiny parts of it, you eventually create chaos. So my recommendation to anybody who's watching this is that if you're in the field of computer science or programming, understand the core difference between coding and programming. Coding is your ability to come up with a thought and translate that into machine language. Programming is your ability to take a huge problem statement, break it down into chunks, define the variables, define the functions, and in future, AI will do coding and humans will do programming. And a lot of your work is probably going to be around using AI to reduce technical debt, to reduce bugs, to find edge cases. So if you're somebody who's trying to do greenfield development, then AI can help you make prototypes. But if you're someone doing brownfield development, then AI can either help you create documentation of your brownfield code, or it can help you find edge cases of that brownfield code, or it can basically help you create layouts or UI, basic front end of the brownfield code that you've already generated. But in general, no code or vibe coding applications are not that useful when you're in a brownfield industry. Another new interesting area that is coming up within colleges is that professors are now teaching their computer science students on not only how to prompt with AI, but also how to scrutinize and validate AI outputs. In future, a large part of your job as an AI operator would be to find mistakes from AI. And if you do not have attention to detail, if you do not have a sharp state of mind, you will always be a poor AI checker. The next new industry is all about creating B2B agentic automations. And I've been saying this from day one that if you can learn something in 10 minutes, your competitors can also learn it in 10 minutes. You only get paid in life when you help other people either save time or make money. So if you have to create an AI solution, create it for an industry that has high margins. So you have to understand how to create deterministic workflows, deterministic agentic automations, which means that you get into an industry, figure out all of the repetitive work that they do on a daily basis and figure out how can you create automations for them. Now, this could be something like invoice processing. It could be the onboarding flows for any organization. It could be doing random QAs, depending on their SOPs. It could be auditing their proposals and overall pictures and diagrams. But you have to pick boring businesses. You have to pick larger industries, real estate, documentation-based industries, healthcare industries, in general areas where there's a lot of data, a lot of mundane work and high margins, high operational costs. In future, there's going to be a bunch of people giving services left, right and center. But if you crack an industry that has high operational costs, where a bunch of their money is just getting invested into doing mundane tasks, that is where you can help a business save lakhs of rupees on a monthly basis. And if you can help somebody save 10 lakh rupees a month, you can easily charge them 2 lakh rupees a month for that service. So folks, before I end this video, there's one more field which is very similar to what was ethical hacking back in 2016. Turns out that people are now running AI red teams in their organizations. Now I'll explain you where this concept of red team comes in. In the army, when you're going through training, and this is a proper military level concept, you create fictional enemies who test your actual team to find loopholes and edge cases in your training. So a red team essentially attacks your original team so that the original team can practice and become even stronger. There's going to be a huge demand of people who are becoming really good at AI red teaming and in general monitoring AI results. And this will require a good proper study, by the way, of both LLM ops and ML ops. And we'll link some documentation below that will help you understand how to get started with these subjects. The core goal here is that you need to understand how LLMs and machine learning algorithms work and how can you scrutinize, how can you create guardrails, how can you create compliances, or how you can audit these compliances at scale. So your ability to track changes, your ability to debug issues, your ability to run adversarial testing, which means that if somebody has created an AI chatbot, before that chatbot is given to thousands of customers, you have to create an AI red team who can test all of the edge cases. Now folks, the entire world is changing very quickly, and I always tell each of my followers to follow the SHAPE framework. If you're here for the first time, we'll link all of our courses that are absolutely for free for you to get started in the description. But to summarize the most important lessons, be SOP driven and document all of your processes. Practice the human in loop workflow where AI results act as your baseline and not the finish line. Always remember that anything that you learn is running on arbitrage. So it is going to get outdated in the next 3 months. So learn how to learn difficult things using AI. P stands for product no longer being a moat. No matter what you create, the best website, the best app, the best interfaces, the best kind of content, using AI, anybody can reverse engineer it. And in the end, the E stands for being employable. I can literally see people getting dumber and dumber by the week. In future, achieving AGI is going to become extremely easy if human intelligence itself takes a dip. Let me know in the comment section if you align with the same thoughts and if you're a professional looking to upskill yourself at the most affordable costs ever. Go check out our AI Academy where you can sync with our expert instructors on a weekly basis and get a dedicated human counselor to help you embark on this new AI journey. I hope that you're taking care of your mind and body. This was your instructor Ansh Mehra and you were learning from the Cutting Edge School.